Okay, we have a couple problems here that I just want to go over as an example of a couple different types of synthetic division and factoring, and the results that we may get are different. Let's just see. We don't really know, and I think the whole point of me doing this video is you really don't know until you start working the problem what type of answers you might get. So this is finding the zeros. It is a cubic polynomial. This means we're going to synthetic division. So that means that we're looking at our last number. It doesn't matter the sign, you just need the number to create your list of possible integer zeros. So 12 is going to give us plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 4. Okay, so 2 goes into 12, 3 goes into 12, 4 goes into 12, 5 doesn't, but 6 does, 7 doesn't, 8 doesn't, 9 doesn't, and then we're left with 12. Okay, all right, that's a lot of list. Let's use each one in synthetic division and see which one works out. So we're looking for a remainder of 0. Looking at 1, we've got 1, 2, negative 6, and negative 12. Okay, so bring down the 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. 1 times 3 is 3. Add. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. And that's negative 15. That's not giving us 0, okay? So that's not going to work. Let's try negative 1. 1, 2, negative 6, negative 12. 1. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. That's negative 7. That's positive 7. That's not going to give us 0. Let's try 2. 1, 2, negative 6, negative 12. 1, 2 times 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Negative 6 plus 8 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. That's not giving us 0. Let's try negative 2. 1, 2, negative 6, negative 12. This is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. Negative 2 times 0 is 0. Negative 6 plus 0 is negative 6. Negative 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. And we get 0. Perfect. So we can stop. What does this mean? That means that when we write our function, we know that the 0 is negative 2 and our factor is x plus 2. Change the sign. Change the sign. What would our other factor be, or our quotient here? That's going to be based off of this. So this would be x squared plus 0x that we don't need minus 6. And so when you see that 0 right there, that's telling you, okay, hey, this is going to work out a little bit differently because we don't have a trinomial to factor by grouping. So if you'll remember, if you just have two terms, and if you go back and watch my other video, we went straight to our zeros and then worked backwards to find factors. This one doesn't ask us to find factors, so we can just find the zeros here. So that means we're just setting x plus 2 equals 0 and solving. We know that gives us negative 2 because that was what was in the box here. But how do I do the other side? That is setting that equal to 0 straight away. Then solving. So we're using square root property here. X squared equals 6. Square root. And we've got to put the plus minus square root of 6 here. So we are left with an irrational here, not a complex. And our three zeros would be negative 2, square root of 6, negative square root of 6, whatever order you want there. Okay? If they ask me what the factors were, it doesn't, but if it did, you would say x plus 2, x minus square root of 6, x plus square root of 6. So just in case they do ask that, it's not in this problem, but you may be asked that on the homework. I don't know. All right, so that's one example. Again, didn't really know until we got right here. That gave us that 0 in the middle there. That means we're basically going to get some different types of solutions or zeros. All right, so that's one example. Let's look at one more. Find the zeros. Find the zeros. Okay, starting this off. No, these numbers are kind of big, okay? So who knows? I don't know how it's going to work out. Looking at 32 to create my list of possible integers. So we have 1. Does 2 go into 32? Yes. Oops. 2. Does 3 go into 32? No. Does 4 go into 32? Yes. Okay. Does 5? Does 6? No. Does 7? No. Does 8? Yes. And then you're back to 16 and 32. I'm going to tell you in this class, not in life, but in this class, it's never going to be these double digits. That's going to be the zeros. Okay, if you get into the double digits, you clearly skipped one that you needed. All right, let's try one. So we have 9, 42, 16, negative 32. Bring down the 9. 1 times 9 is 9. 42 plus 9 is 51. 51 times 1 is 51. Plus 16 is 67. I don't think this is going to work. 1 times 67 is 67. That's not going to give us 0. Let's try negative 1. 9, 42, 16, negative 32. Bring down the 9. Negative 1 times 9 is negative 9. 42 minus 9 is 33. Negative 1 times 33 is negative 33. 16 minus 33 is negative 17. Negative 1 times negative 17 is 17. That's not giving me 0. So let's try 2. 9, 42, 16, negative 32. Bring it down. 9. 2 times 9 is 18. 42 plus 18 is 60. That's going to give me 120. I don't think this is going to give me 0, okay? And I'll give you a quick hint. It may or may not work out this time. But again, I've mentioned this in another video. All 3 of those are positive, okay? So it may not work out well to have a positive in this box because you're just going to get a bigger and bigger number until you get to that last number. So let's try a negative. Let's try negative 2. 9, 42, 16, negative 32. 9, negative 18. 42 minus 18 is 24. 24 times negative 2 is negative 48. And then add 16 to that, we get negative 32. Multiply by negative 2 is 64. Still not there. Okay. On that same pattern, let's not do positive 4. Let's try negative 4. So 9, 42, 16, negative 32. 9, negative 36. 42 minus 36 should give you 6. And then 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. 16 minus 24 is negative 8. We're getting somewhere here. Negative 4 times negative 8 is 32 with a remainder of 0. Perfect. Yay, finally. Okay. And I want to talk through this. I'm going to talk through a little hint here on this one in a minute. Okay, let's rewrite our function. Our function is x plus 4. That came from x equal negative 4. And our quotient from this, 9x squared plus 6x minus 8. So we're going to bring down the x plus 4, and we're going to factor this 9x squared plus 6x minus 8. Okay, so blank blank minus 8. 9 times negative 8 is negative 72, and we need 6. We need 6 here. So let's do 6 and 12. Positive 6 for B, positive 12 for the bigger number. And these are going to be opposite signs, so negative 6 for the other one. Y'all know I'm going to put the negative first. So negative 6x plus 12x, group. In the first group, we have 3x in common. So divide by 3x both places. 9 divided by 3 is 3. X squared divided by x is x, minus 2. In the second group, we have 4 in common. Divide by 4 both places, and we get 3x minus 2. So our factors are 3x plus 4 and 3x minus 2. But it didn't ask for factors. It asked for zeros. So we're going to take it a step further. X plus 4 equals 0. 3x plus 4 equals 0. 3x minus 2 equals 0. Solve, solve, solve. Okay? So I'm going to go straight to the answers here. If you need to take a minute and subtract and divide, totally fine. But if we have x plus 4, our 0 is -4, our x value. If we have 3x plus 4, this is going to give us -4 over 3. And 3x minus 2 is giving us positive 2/3. Those are our zeros. Now, I want to kind of talk about this real quick. Obviously, I went through quite a few numbers to get here. I don't always want to have to do that. Although sometimes I may just have to, okay? That's just part of it. That is, again, why I said, hey, doing synthetic division quickly would be helpful. However, if you notice these numbers in this problem, you've got some pretty big numbers, 42, 32, 16. One thing that you can think of when you're doing this is I want you to split this list in half. So you made a list, split it in half. And one thing that you can do is when these numbers are kind of big, start at the middle number and go this way. So I would have started with like 4, -4, 2, -2, then 1, -1. I'm not normally, gonna go this way, okay? Because you're getting big numbers there, and I'm gonna tell you no double-digit number is gonna work for this course. Again, not in life, but in this course. And most of the bigger numbers don't. So I would start kind of in the middle and work backwards. And that would have saved me a little bit of time here, okay? As you can see, if I only had to do 4, -4, I would have found it with a -4. So that's just a quick hint on that. And then again, just looking at your signs of the actual problem, if you end up having like a lot of positives at the beginning, your zero you're trying to find is probably negative. If you have a whole bunch of negatives, the zero you're trying to find is probably positive. It just depends on the problem, okay? All right, hope seeing a couple more examples helped. Thanks.